Hello friends, DJ Brohawk here, and you'll notice this isn't iRacing. It's Gran Turismo. You'll also notice I moved my camera. New angle, new me. I don't know if I like this angle better, so let me know in the comments if you like it up high like this, or if you think the previous angle I had is better. Now, before I get into the quality hot laps, I want to tell you a little bit about this race and about this combo. This is the semi-final of the Community Team Cup, put on by the Community League Racing Group. This match featured my team, Apex Hunter Racing, versus the lovely folks at Race Asylum for a chance to take on Tidgney Community Racing, possibly even including Tidgney himself in the final. Each team starts with a set of 5 cars and 5 tracks to be used across 5 race weeks. This is the penultimate race, and both us and Race Asylum chose quite possibly the dirtiest possible combination of cars and tracks, a Group B Ford Focus and Bathurst. This car was extremely difficult to drive here. It's not low to the ground and it has soft suspension, causing it to understeer at every possible moment. It's hard enough to drive alone, but it was nearly impossible to drive in traffic, as we'll see in a little bit. I mentioned this in my last video, but I'm somewhat of a nervous racer. I also have a bit of ADD brain, and a couple of the previous CTC races involved a couple of mistakes that happened due to me breaking focus. I told the team before the race I was going to avoid party chat this time so I could focus, since these jokers like to crack jokes mid-race. The result? I drove out of my mind. That's right, this was some of the best driving I have ever done. And it came when the team needed it most, in the semi-final of this Community Team Cup. And who better to do it against than Race Asylum? Race Asylum was Apex Hunter Racing's very first team versus team race a few months ago. We had a little scrimmage, if you will, and they beat us. And so we got another chance to see if we could take revenge. We'll see what happens. Here's your hot lap. First thing we're going to do, see how close the person behind is. Here, we're going to brake at the 100 board, maybe a shade afterward. Get it down to third, let it roll through the corner and get on the power hard. This car is very torquey, but it understeers a lot. A moment to breathe. You can see me sigh. I'm very nervous. I know how good Race Asylum is, and they beat us before. I'm even patting my chest. Here we're going to brake at the 100 board again, get it down into fourth. Let it roll through the corner for a bit till you can see corner exit, then get on the power. There you go. Nice. Here we're going to get light on the brakes as we go into the first left-hander, then get hard onto the brakes. I almost lose it. Let it roll through this corner too. Let it only get to about 53. Hard on the power. You can try and take this flat here. This part will lift a little bit. Keep it tight on the inside. Want to get it to about 100 miles an hour. Safe through here. Shift into 6th early to prevent understeer. A little bit of a lift. Use a lot of the curb. Here, lift and turn in before the crest of the hill so you don't lose the car. Nice, keep it tight to the wall, very nice. We're gonna go hard on the brakes, a stab, then we're gonna drag it a little bit, then we're gonna go hard again in a straight line, keep it tight to that wall on the right, then use the camber. There you go, into fourth. It's really, really quick and technical, this section. A little bit of brake around the right. Oh, Dan, he almost gets in the way, but I managed to get it slowed down. He doesn't get in the way. I use his toe just a little bit, and then he knows I'm on a hot lap. He gets out of my way even though we're not in voice chat. Fair play to you, Dan. He knew what was going on. Best thing you can do is get out of your teammate's way if you have an accident. Another long straight. This is the easy part of the lap. We're going to brake between the 150 and the 100 board, about 125. Get it down into third briefly. Let it roll through the corner. Hard on the power. Use the upshift to help you rotate. Do it again into fifth. Almost go off the track, but we hold it. We're going to brake right at the 100 board here, get it down into third, and then roll it through this corner, hard on the power, use the upshift to let it rotate a little bit, and then we cross the finish line in a 2:05.0. This was an extremely fast lap, and you will see in a moment, I am P2, and I go for another lap. I'm nervous, I'm shaking, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I just put down a monster lap. This is a monster lap for me. And I'm purple going into Sector 1. The lap is all the same from here. And as we get to the top of the hill, you can see that I am 2.5 tenths purple. I am flying. I am flying. I cannot express to you how fast I am going right now. Until right here. I brake a little late, I slide, you can see it on my face, and I say the words, "There goes pole." Sliding there is one of the worst things you could do. Sliding in this car, period, slows the car down so much that you lose gobs of time, and you can see it. I'm shaking my head. I am no longer purple. I'm not even on for a personal best. I was none too happy because at the top of the hill, I was flying. So here we go. You can see the disappointment on my face. I know that I've thrown pole away. Pole is worth 5 extra points, and I know how good Race Asylum is. And so every point, every position matters. You can see the disappointment. 7/100ths away from pole, and I would start P2. Now, in practice, I was not the fastest AHR member. There were a couple of guys that were in the 204s in practice. I was maybe doing a 205.5, and so a 205.0 is where I'm at. You can see I had my phone up to my face here talking. That was my party chat so that I could talk to the guys if I needed to. You can see it. I'm spurring them on. Check your tires. Stay focused. Let's do this. This is it. This is crunch time. Now I mute my phone, and it's time to start the semifinal. This is a grid start. I've done a few of these, as you might have seen before in my iRacing videos, but these are not staggered. These are side by side in understeery Ford Focus Group B cars. Let's see how it goes. No false starts allowed. I'm on the outside waiting for the green. And we're off. Step 1, as usual, survival. Get through turn 1. This right here, pivotal moment in the race. I give Penelope space and I get bumped a little wide, which allows Penelope and her teammate King Ears to go through. This moment ended up being very, very, very important. Penelope in front of me is on the hard compound of tires. I'm on the soft compound of tires, and it's impossible to overtake here at this track. I accidentally get into the back of Penelope. They broke a little early. I thought they were far enough ahead where I could use my normal braking point, but they broke early to avoid hitting their teammate. That one was my bad. We carry on. Dan manages to get in front of me. Penelope on cold, hard tires. Need to keep an eye on that. Dan is also on the soft tire. He's going to try and get past Penelope to challenge King Ears for the top spot. Now, King Ears is on the soft tire, and Penelope, whether they intended to do this or not, is now playing defense to let King Ears run away with the race, and Penelope is well on their way to doing that. So we're at the top of the hill now, trying to get around. Look at this. There is no way to get around. I know both Dan and myself are on the softer compound of tire, and there is just nothing. No way to get around people on this track, especially because of the way the Ford Focus works. As we'll see here in a moment, the Ford Focus tops out at 162 miles an hour. It does not go a dot over that, even in the toe. But once you get up to 162, that's it. If you don't get around the person, you're not going to get around the person. I have a little bit of a bump going on to this back straightaway, and now the race is fully underway. I have lost Penelope and Dan just a little bit. I'm trying to stay calm, trying to stay focused. Don't want to ram my teammate. I just want to get around the track. Now you'll notice I am shifting a little bit before the bar fills, right around halfway. My team and I had a strategy as Dan gets around Penelope. I was really relieved to see that happen, because now Dan, who is extremely fast, can try and chase down King Ears, and now I need to see if I can get around Penelope, which unfortunately for me proved to be extremely difficult. To give you an example of what I mean, we jump to the end of the straight. I'm on softer tires so I can take this corner a lot faster. I try to sneak my nose in on the inside, but I just can't get a run, and now I'm stuck as we try and go up the hill. I am right on Penelope's bumper. They get a little bit loose here. I try to stick my nose in, but I get squeezed against the wall. I don't blame them for that. It actually looked like I had room. but the game didn't give it to me. So here we go up the hill. I can do nothing but sit behind Penelope unless they make an egregious mistake. I cannot pass them here. I just can't. There's nowhere to pass them. The track is narrow. There's no way to go around. You can't do it in the braking zone up here. So even though I'm going faster, I nudge the wall just a little bit. Even though I'm going faster on the softer compound of tire, there's not really anything I can do. I will eventually catch Penelope as we come down the hill because I'm just on the better tire. There's nothing I can do. There's really no way to pass here except on the long straight, but because the car tops out at 162, and even with the tow, there's nothing I can do, and so I'm forced to be patient and pick my spots. We jump to the end of the long straight, another opportunity to try and get around Penelope. I get a run coming out of this corner, they get a little loose, I stick my nose in, but they go defensive, and here we break at the 100 board, maybe a little bit later. Really nice defensive driving. I just back out. There's nothing else I can do. I didn't want to take it around the outside, and this highlights one of my shortcomings as a driver. I don't have a ton of experience going side by side or going defensive, so I don't really know what to do in these situations. Should I try and hang it around the outside on the softer tire? Should I try a cutback? I sorta kinda went for a cutback there, but it didn't work. That wasn't the right corner for it. So we're back behind Penelope again. My first lap was a 2:08. I should be doing 2:06s. Penelope gets loose again. I cannot get around them. I couldn't stick my nose down the inside. We're basically just being held up. This is exactly what someone on the harder compound of tire should do in this situation. They get loose again. Nothing I can do. I can't go around them. I can't go around them. So we're only on lap 3, and I'm thinking, well, I know they're on the harder compound of tire, but I don't think they're saving fuel. And you can see I am all over the back of the car in front of me. I mean, the pressure I am putting on this person has to be immense. We think about going around here in going to the downhill, and then we get it a little bit wrong, and I end up smacking Penelope. Just trying to get around them, trying to make a move. That one might have been my bad. Hard to say. I would have to go back and watch it a few times to really see what exactly happened there, but they retained the position. There's nothing I can do. There's really nothing I can do. I'm trying to make a move because I know I am faster than them on the softer tire, and I cannot get around them. I've said it 10 times already. There's nothing I can do. And my teammates behind me have caught up. They were 3 seconds behind because I can't get around them. And I just want to point out real quick, Penelope and I had a fantastic race. I know it looks like I'm battering the heck out of them, but it's really just, it's this combo and the tire difference. I mean, this car wasn't made to be driven around Bathurst, especially when you consider hard and soft tires. And again, we try and go for a move, and this time we break a little later. We're going to try and hang it around the outside. Will we get it? No. Did not. Fantastic driving from both of us really in this situation, but Penelope on those hard tires was doing a fantastic job. But this is a good example. You know, I've said it ad nauseum. I just can't get around. And Penelope and I, we really, really had a fantastic race. And I tried, believe me, I tried again and again and again and again to get around, doing things like braking later to try and hang it around the outside. That right there might have been my opportunity, but I got it slightly wrong. And as long as the harder compound tire car stays in front, nothing I can do. Here, we try again, we get it wrong. Stuck behind him. I tried so many times to get around Penelope, and I just couldn't. That is, until the mistake I was looking for finally happened. Penelope gets into the wall. I squeeze by, hold it on the inside as the better tires finally come through, and we are past them. Now, it is lap 4. I'm only going till lap 7. I almost can't believe I'm past them and brake late, and now it's time to run away. I know they probably won't catch me in the tow, so I need a good clean exit from this corner right here. Go a little deep, but it's okay. Now we're off to the races. How much of a gap can I build? Now, I do know I'm on a different fuel strategy. I'm going to have 1 lap more of fuel to use here than everyone else, so I will be able to put in less fuel later, which should give me a couple seconds of gap. but even though the toe isn't that strong, it still matters. So I need to use what's left of these tires to try and get away as best I can, build up a gap, because I know Penelope will be on a softer tire than me, as stint number 2 here is going to be on the hards. So we jump ahead to lap 6. You can see here that I have 1 lap of fuel left, and I'm going to stay out. You can see the 2 people in front of me have pitted. I just want to point out, it's very satisfying to have a different strategy than everyone else. You see everyone going in the pits to change tires, and I'm going to take 1 more lap. Almost everyone was on the 6-lap strategy. In fact, I was also on the 6-lap strategy until I did some testing just before the race and felt like a 7th lap on worn out softs would be faster than my best lap on the hard tires. I ended up being right. Here we have a 20-second lead over the fellow who is dropping down the grid, E2. And I knew that with my fuel strategy, I would be able to save a couple of seconds in the pits, which I felt between the time gained with an extra soft tire lap and the fuel saving, I would be able to get a little bit of a more advantageous position than I had before. And as we fast forward to the end of my pit stop, you can see here, waiting for the gap to come down to see how far behind my teammate Belfast Bap is. Now, I'm on the hard compounded tires. I know I am going to be slower than pretty much everyone behind me. So I have to keep in mind, I can't communicate with my teammates. And I also know that the hard tires are extremely difficult to drive on. So my thinking is, I know that Belfast Bap, aka Jack, is going to catch me. I need to be careful when he does, and I need to let him by. But I told the guys, this is where communication is important even when you can't talk to your team mid-race. I told the guys, if you're behind me and you approach me, I'm going to assume one of 2 things. Number 1, you're on the softer compounded tire, in which case I'll let you through. Number 2, you're a better driver, in which case I'm going to let you through. I also told them, if a non-teammate is behind me, I'm going to defend like mad, cleanly of course, to try and make sure that my teammates can create a gap and do the best that they can. So we have Jack behind me. He's already gained within a second. You can see I'm really struggling here. But either way, the mindset going forward is just drive. And this is something that applies to anyone in these situations. If you're in a team race where there's different strategies, different tires, see how I'm looking behind me. Just trying to get a gauge. Where is Jack? And then where is anyone behind Jack? So that I can try to gauge when I need to make a move. But right now, the gap is too big to worry about it. We're just going to put down as fast a laps we can until Jack gets close enough to where he can go by. Fast forward to lap 9, you can see that Jack's taken out about 1.3 seconds. I'm just looking back to see where he is. Still too far away for me to let him by. I know this race is going to be 14 laps. In my testing, I and the team discovered that the race will be 14 laps, so I know that Jack is going to catch me. It's just a matter of when is he going to catch me and when is a good time for me to let him by. It's not right now. It may not be next lap. As long as I keep it clean, it'll probably be about 2 laps from now, but we'll see what happens. Fast forward to lap 10 and you can see that Jack has caught me. But there's a problem. Jack has a penalty. Not only does he have a penalty, but he has Penelope hot on his heels. Now, my plan of letting Jack by is suddenly in jeopardy. As the penalty is served, he falls back, and I'm looking to see, did Penelope pass him? Did Penelope pass him? It looks like it's not going to happen, but I still have to drive my race. This does let me know that Jack will probably not catch me until maybe we get to the top of the mountain. Good news for me, he can't really pass me, and I can't let him by until we get to the Conrad Straight. Fast forward to later in the lap. Watch the bottom right of my screen on the radar. This is brilliant driving by Jack. He sets up a really good exit going onto the Conrad Straight because he knows I'm on hard tires. He knows he's on the softer tire, and he's going to use as much of the toe as possible. Now here is something that's extremely difficult to get right. I know the toe isn't very strong, so watch how I go to about 90% throttle, let Jack get up to 162, then get right behind him and get back up to speed. He and I executed that perfectly. And now, hello Penelope, my old friend. How the turntables. It is my turn to play defense. Here we go, going defensive here into the final turn. I take a little bit of a narrow line. I get it slightly wrong. Penelope goes wide, bumps me, and gives me a little bit of a boost. I'm going to try to use Jack's toe for as long as I can. It does help a little bit, but I get that corner wrong, braking late, and now Penelope's going to get a little bit of a run on me out of turn 1. Now, I know that they're on the softer compound of tire. When the roles were reversed, I could not pass when Penelope went defensive, so I'm going to go defensive again and try to squeeze for as much space as I can, brake at the 100 board, let the car roll through the apex. Because Penelope's doing it a little differently, they get it wrong, and I'm able to keep the position just barely. And now we're going up the hill, and look at Jack get away. This is exactly what I wanted. You can't pass here. I creep up the mountain, trying to make sure I keep the car right. Going up the hill. This right here is just an example of how my battle with Penelope was for the entire race. I mean, it was nose to tail for so much of this race, and I'm sure that Penelope was feeling a lot of the frustration that I felt earlier in the race. Here, can't go up for a move coming down the hill as well. It's just so hard to overtake here. If I keep it clean, it's extremely hard to overtake. Now I know that there's only 2 more laps after this one, and Penelope is on a softer compound of tire. If they're on the soft tire, it should be wearing out soon. So if I can just hold off for maybe another lap or so, I might be able to get away if Penelope's tires wear out. But until that happens, I have to keep defending. So here we go down the Conrad Straight once again. Penelope gets another run on me, and I have to go defensive again. Can I continuously get this right? We break between the 150 and the 100 board. Penelope goes for a cutback, but I park it on the apex. They go for a move, give me a slight tap, and then they back out. I will retain the position again. I get a good enough run that I don't have to go defensive here into the final corner. We're able to hold the position still. 2 more laps. Can I hold this position for 2 more laps? Fast forward a little bit to the top of the mountain. Penelope's still back there, only 4/10 behind, but now look, it's 5/10, and in a moment it's going to be 6/10, and then in another moment it's going to be 7/10. I'm trying to still drive while also keeping track of the delta. As you can see, now it's 8/10, and I'm starting to think maybe their tires are starting to wear out. Now if I can just keep it clean, I might be able to run away with this one. We keep it nice and clean onto the Conrad Straight. 8/10. It's going between 7 and 8/10 now. This might be what I was hoping for. We might be able to stick it here for P4. Fast forward to the final corner. You can see I have enough fuel. I just need to make it around 1 more lap. Penelope 8/10 behind as we head into the first corner. This is the final lap. Can I keep it clean through this lap? 9/10. We go around the first corner, and Penelope's made a mistake, and now it's 1.2 seconds. I have a quick look behind, and now I'm thinking to myself, if I just keep it clean, I'm going to hold P4. And as we skip ahead to the final corner, you can see I did it. I held it together and brought home P4 in one of the hardest fought battles I have ever had. With these results, AHR took a slight lead into race 2. I just want to give out a big shout out to Penelope, who gave me such an awesome, incredible battle. But my duel with them is not yet over. There's still 1 more race to be done, and if you want to see how this intense semifinal ends, give the video a like and subscribe to the channel. Part 2 will be coming out in the next week or so. You won't want to miss it. All that said, until next time, see ya!